You think prisons have walls, chains, locks, guards. But in Britain, crowds jeered at the gallows, and in 1868, public executions were banned forever. Proof that old terror lost its grip. So how did power build something even harder to escape? The answer may be all around you, hidden in plain sight. The scaffold rose above the crowd like a stage, drawing thousands into its orbit. Vendors shouted over each other, hawking pies and gin. Street singers belted out ballads about the condemned, their verses competing with the jeers of boys perched on lampposts. The air stank of sweat, spilled ale, and anticipation. A mother lifted her child to see better. Pickpockets slipped through the throng, hands quick and practiced. Laughter mingled with shouts as the hangman tested the rope, a grim rehearsal unnoticed by most. For many, execution day was a holiday, a spectacle, not a warning. Press sketches captured faces twisted in delight, not horror. A man dangled above them, but the crowd's mood was closer to carnival than penance. Death became entertainment. The lesson meant to terrify was lost in the noise. The gallows had become a marketplace, and fear had become a game. In May 1868, Parliament ended the spectacle. The Capital Punishment Amendment Act swept public executions from British streets with a single statute. The scaffold, once a stage for thousands, was now hidden behind prison walls. No more crowds pressed against the gallows, no more vendors, no ballads, no jeers. The law replaced the mob with a short list: the sheriff, the prison governor, a doctor, a handful of warders, and maybe a chaplain. Sometimes a reporter was present if the authorities allowed it. Outside, the only sign was a notice pinned to the prison gate, a sheet of paper confirming the state had killed in silence. Lawmakers argued that the old rituals had become a carnival, that fear had failed, that the dignity of justice demanded privacy. The crowd was dismissed, the execution became an administrative act, sealed off from public eyes. The lesson was no longer for the people, it was for the system itself. Jeremy Bentham sat at his desk in the 1790s, sketching a circle. Around the edge, rows of cells. At the center, a tower with shaded windows. He called it the panopticon. Its genius was not in locks or walls, but in sightlines. Every prisoner could be seen from the tower, but none could see inside it. The guard might be watching, or might not. The uncertainty did the work. Bentham wrote that this design would create a new kind of prisoner, one who becomes his own guard. The threat of being watched, even when alone, would shape every action. No need for chains, no need for crowds. The architecture itself would enforce obedience. Bentham's letters promised perfect discipline through invisible power, a machine for reform, not revenge. The spectacle ended at the prison gate. Inside, control became silent, constant, and abstract. The self-guarding cell was born, a place where the mind polices itself long after the crowd has vanished. A new economy rose on the back of human behavior. Every search, every swipe, every pause was captured, logged, and sold. Shoshana Zuboff called it surveillance capitalism, a market built on the extraction and prediction of private experience. Data was no longer just collected, it was weaponized. In 2018, the world learned that Cambridge Analytica had harvested the profiles of 87 million people without consent. They built psychological models, targeting voters with messages designed to shift opinions and tilt elections. The files leaked by whistleblowers revealed a system that did not just watch, but manipulated at scale. Algorithms tracked patterns, mapped desires, and tested which fears would move a ballot. Micro-targeting replaced the public square. The architecture of control now spanned continents, running on code and commerce. The invisible hand was replaced by an invisible eye, one that did not just see, but acted, shaping choices before they reached the surface of thought. A creator opens their analytics page and watches the numbers collapse. Yesterday, a full-time living. Today, an 80% loss, gone in a single update. No warning, no explanation, only a yellow icon and the words "not suitable for advertisers." Years of work erased by a line of code. Some creators try to appeal, but the system answers with silence. Rent, bills, groceries suddenly out of reach. Behind every username, a person recalculates their future. One describes the panic of seeing their monthly income plummet overnight. Another admits to deleting old videos, hoping to win back favor from an algorithm that never speaks. For many, the platform that promised freedom became a trap that could close without notice. Laws now demand answers from the machine. The European Union Artificial Intelligence Act requires high-risk algorithms to face independent audits. With every decision logged and open to inspection, groups like the Electronic Frontier Foundation fight for digital rights. Pushing for transparency and accountability, anyone can start by questioning recommendations, adjusting privacy settings, and supporting organizations that defend online freedoms. Awareness is the first step out. Real freedom starts with seeing who shapes your choices. Today, every click feeds the system. You can't escape what you can't see unless you learn to look.